Hello and welcome to the Crazy Train. With me is Omer Ibrahim.
I don't have a fact about trains.
You
I know that the longest uninterrupted train ride you can take in Britain goes from London Euston to Preston.
Alright.
Crazy fact!
Blake Harmer.
I should have thought of the song.
We are so prepared.
And I'm your host Rob Wade, and I also should have thought of a song. We're on the podcast with a race against time because our pizza is on the way.
We have to record a podcast before the pizza.
Yeah.
So this is the E14 Pizzacast.
This is the Pizzacast. So
Which will probably last about 2 minutes, but we will see how long it'll last.
It's an experiment in pizza ordering. It's us versus Domino's on pay-per-view.
Fuck Domino's.
Anyway, so
That's what you're going to have.
Oh yeah.
do you guys see in the news, right? So there was a woman,
I've got a television.
an actress. It was on the internet as well.
Oh okay.
There was an
I
actress.
forget the news only exists on the TV.
There was an actress who sued IMDb
Okay.
because they published her age.
Oh, what?
Right.
Yeah.
And what this was the argument was that her real age would stop her from getting work.
Then you shouldn't be so fucking old.
Well, two things. First of all,
It's a lifestyle choice that I do not encourage.
she's a very attractive Asian woman.
Oh, no.
So, what?
There's no such thing.
Really?
I know.
Oh no, I know some pretty hot Asian.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Can
Jackie
you
Chan.
introduce them to Rob?
Yeah, seriously.
They're not all Jackie Chan.
They are all Jackie Chan.
Girl's name anyway.
Inaccurate stuff. But so yeah, the first thing is she's Asian. So you know, I've never seen an Asian woman who's in her 40s who doesn't look like she's in her sort of late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, they do stay younger longer, but then all of a sudden they go old.
Okay.
Turkish women do the same thing. It's
So-
21 and just bleh.
And the article, the reason I liked it was because the article said, according to the website, her credits include the 2011 title Ginger Dead Man 3 Saturday Night Cleaver. And I was just like,
Yeah, how much are you going to fucking sue them for then? 20 quid?
It's just like, so you reckon that the reason you're limited by work is your age?
Not the fact
as
that you
opposed
probably
to
are shit.
your appalling choices in movie
You haven't
roles.
sucked enough cock. Oh, me love you a long time, $10. But me not 40.
Wow. I sort of hope that we don't get an Asian
How about those Chinese rhinos?
endings, callbacks, crazy train.
Where the fuck's my pizza?
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit more about stuff that happened to me recently. So I'm going to tell you the legend of the man behind the fire train.
The man behind the fire train.
Yeah. So
It's just like the Wizard of Oz again.
not the
This
I've heard
sounds like a sequel to His Dark Materials or something.
no, see, I don't want it to sound like it's not the mastermind behind.
I think I've got one of those with my Warhammer set.
What?
The man of the fire train.
Ba, 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 ba. He's the man behind the fire train.
You shall not pass the fire train.
That was a well thought out joke, Rob. Well done.
Thanks. So I was on a train, a normal standard train as opposed
Not
to a
crazy
crazy, which I'm not on nearly enough.
Yeah. Neither's Brad.
No, I know.
I've got his name there for a microsecond. Did you notice that?
I think he's just going to have to be a special guest at this point. He's now at like 2 episodes out of 7.
Yeah.
So fuck him.
Why not save him for special occasions?
Yeah, there you go. He's on the fantasy flight.
Like his bar mitzvah.
Well, he wouldn't land. That's the problem.
Well, it doesn't help.
He would if it was an X-Wing.
So I was on a train, and the train stopped unexpectedly in a station I've never heard of and have never looked up to see since. It's like Bickley or something. I was like, I didn't even know that was a place, but apparently it is. It's got a station. And we get a tannoy announcement saying we are currently being held due to a fire on a train ahead at Rochester. The platform underneath the train had caught fire. And it annoyed me in the sense that, you know, obviously nobody was harmed and it's all fine and everything's fine now. We're all fine here now. How are you? Thank you. Yeah. But it annoyed me because I don't even have a story of being on the fire train.
You're just on the train.
I have a story of the guy whose commute was interrupted by it. I was an hour late to the pub I was going to. But, like, you know, and it made me think, you know, we are kind of in this state now where, as a society, we don't really have any proper problems anymore.
No, we have other people's problems become our problems. Yeah.
Yeah, and the internet means never having to say I'm over it.
Yeah.
You just go first world problem.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, and that gives you an excuse. When I was talking about Trains on Fire, once I can't remember where I was coming back from, but it must have been
Wrestling show?
No. For once,
No.
I think it was. What's the stop before London Victoria?
Bromley South.
Bromley South. I think I was shopping with some friends in Bromley
Okay.
South, and we were coming back, and the train was late.
Yeah.
And I've told a few people this just because I love the way the tannoy came over. You know, obviously they have like set pieces of voice, and then they had it together. So it's like the train now arriving at platform 1 is the 7, and it's that kind of. And it just went. This train has been delayed due to Lazafar at Chatham. The train will arrive in 50 minutes.
What?
Yeah, that was it. That was all we got. There was no line so far. It was Lazafar. So every time I hear about train fires, I just go Lazafar at Chatham, and that the train will arrive in 50 minutes. I don't know how many 50 is. But it arrived about 30 minutes later.
It's the amount you're late to things.
Yeah.
So 50 is this unknown number. That's
how long I sit in cars.
I'm in the ether.
Talking about...
Why do you keep doing that, by the way?
Talking about tannoy thing, that reminds me of possibly one of my favourite experiences at a theme park.
Okay.
I was at Alton Towers, and there's a ride there.
Shout out to A-word, T-word.
Yeah.
Brat.
I don't know if you've been on it, but it's called Hex.
Yep,
Okay.
I know Hex.
Yeah, it. To be honest, it's all this build up and telling the story of this big witch and all that.
It's the tree, isn't it?
And the tree,
Yeah.
and all that. And it's a big build up, and then it's just one of those crappy rides where the
It's a swing.
moves.
Yeah,
It's a swing.
You swing left and right a little
To be
bit.
honest, you spend
and the
more
room
time-
rotates, so you feel like you're upside down, but you're not. Yeah, it's
You
really
spend more
it's
time being built up about
Yeah.
it. Right. But my friends absolutely hate the ride, but we always make a point that because this one guy hates it so much that we have to go on it, otherwise it's not a trip to Alton Town.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
So we went on it, and it was quite. Went through the usual build-up, and we sat on the ride, and we do our usual, having a laugh at how crap it is. But there was this bit. There must have been these other couple of people playing on phones at the moment. So it's in there, and it's all big, over-the-top music.
Yeah, it's a big
going,
electronic.
and right in the middle, the music cut dead, and it went. Can you stop playing with your phone, please? But then the music cut back in, so it was kid, stop playing your phone, please.
I had that once, and
And it was absolutely amazing.
I went on a road trip with my friend. I was going through a pretty sort of rough patch, and I think I just put on Facebook who fancies going out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I had a day off work, like because my dad was still in the country, so I took over the job, and we just got in my car and we drove, and I headed towards kind of Ramsgate way. It was just I was headed that way. I think there was an archery shop in Ramsgate that kind of was pulling me that way, so we pulled aside, and I sort of went into my history in that, and so there were we saw Roman fort at Reculver. And we'll check out Reculver. Right, and I had, I think...
Sounds sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had my
Right
iPhone,
in the Reculver.
iPhone plugged into the car, playing my music from that, and I had... I've always had like movie soundtracks on there, but I remember one of the ones I had on there was the King Arthur movie.
Okay.
The movie, I love the movie, a lot of people say it's not so great, but the actual music is just really good behind it. And as we drove into Reculver, one of the big battle scene musics hit. And Reculver is a very small little... just bigger than a hamlet, with nothing in it. Absolutely nothing going
Population
on.
12.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the population was genuinely something about 50.
Yeah.
It's that small. There's a little visitor centre, there's some... when it says a Roman fort, it's not, it's a wall. And there's an old medieval church ruins there as well, which is quite fun to look at. But as we drove in, though, as this music hits, there's a guy digging the road, and he stops as like the music like dum 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 dum, and it stops as the guy puts his shovel to the floor. So like puts his hand on the end of the shovel, looks up at the horizon, and wipes his brow in the most dramatic thing I'd ever seen for absolutely nothing going on at all. But that's so definitely King Arthur and going for cover. It also came up with the catchphrase. Me and my friend Joe, his name is Joe. We went there. Where it's just. What happens in Reculver stays in Reculver. Nothing happens in Reculver. But yeah, I've got to go back there sometime because it's one of those places like you say, the ride that's completely shit. I always do when I go to Thorpe Park, I go on the Flying Fish because it's such a crappy roller coaster. Once went on it with my friends, and it was right as the park was closing, and it was like we'd done everything, and it was the last ride, and we did. I think it was about 15 laps. Because we were the last people on there, and we were like, round again, and the ride didn't even stop to let more people on, it just kept going. You normally do about 3, so it was quite fun. But yeah, like Reculver is now somewhere I want to go back to, just to go to the shitty little cafe and have a shitty burger again. just because I've been to a Culver before and it was a giggle. So
Yeah.
we made a day out of it. Put it that way.
As shitty food goes, I think we can't top those fucking curry chicken bites we just ate.
Shit!
Oh god, they were awful.
They were reformed. We got these from one of our Tesco runs again,
I'll see if I can find the packaging. Hang on.
and they're like Matson's chicken bites.
Oh, there you go.
But they're reformed, and they don't even have the texture of chicken.
They're awful. They're like
Jesus.
feta cheese. Like,
It's the texture of feta cheese, but it's fucking chicken.
It feels like someone took your chicken, half chewed it for you, and gave it back to you so you could eat
my
it.
dad used to when I was a baby. My dad used to like chew bits of food for me sometimes, and like a baby bird, I guess. But yeah, they taste like somebody doing it for you. The friend, I think
This is to dry off in your mouth.
one of my friends uses the phrase
This animal's well known for teeth.
ready. Birds have teeth, you dick. Especially chickens. Go get me some chicken's teeth. The phrase ready chewed food.
amplifier.
Get me some green and white striped paint.
Oh, true story. Because
Bottle for us.
once again, I'm going to give him a plug. Manny's Music in Chatham High Street when it was Sounds Perfect back in the day.
Still hasn't got my ukulele. I bought one from somewhere else.
Okay, they used to have a guy who worked in there called Paul.
Yep.
And he was famous for suggesting to people that they needed a left-handed amplifier
Nice.
and
Tin of elbow grease.
tin of elbow grease, tartan paint, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one day that somebody does find a way to make tartan paint because that would be amazing.
I know we have got striped paint now.
Okay.
And it works. It's a tin with a roller attached.
Right.
And it's the same way that like toothpaste comes out in stripes.
Yes, like
the roller can give you. I think what it is you paint. The roller has got room for paint inside of it.
Okay.
And you also dip it, and the paint won't hit certain bits.
Right, gotcha.
And you can paint stripes on the
Yeah.
wall. Not like when was the last time you saw somebody who'd painted stripes on the wall?
Not many.
Exactly. It's not a common thing, is
No.
it? But anyway,
They
So
do
tartan
alternating wallpaper things.
Yeah.
But that's kind of sociopathic as well.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I went around that house and there was
Speaking of
newspapers
sociopathic, like we only just spotted when we were going downstairs from the last podcast we recorded that you seem to have on the bottom of your wall, at the bottom of the stairs, you seem to have scratches reminiscent of the bottom of Buffalo Bill's well at times of the lambs. What the fuck?
I really need to sort that because for those people who don't know me, I don't have a dog. It's
Fun fact.
Yeah.
And
He just said it.
I also don't have a dog.
He
I have
said
a bearded dragon.
He said it with a
Snails.
kind of like, I don't have a dog.
Don't be
As if it was,
ridiculous.
come on, me? Love something unconditionally? Bullshit.
Just like Rob, nobody loves him unconditionally.
I have a werewolf.
Nobody loves him either.
Yeah, no. I think the previous owner must have owned a dog. I never saw said dog when I went to view the house.
That is a
before I
ghost
bought it.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Brad in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. Tune in next week because we have Brad when if he landed
Doing a ghost dog seance.
Yeah.
to see if we can summon the ghost of the
Is
dog.
there anybody there? Ruff. He said no.
Yeah.
Bog wants for no.
That'd probably be his project.
So I had a question.
Buying a dog,
Okay.
feeding it to his cat.
Because cat.com.
This is yeah.
So I want to ask you a question actually, Omer.
Go for it.
And it occurs to me that I thought you'd have a good answer to this because it's a fairly common question that people ask. And this occurs to me, I don't know this about you.
3.5 inches.
Okay, is it at least thick?
No, it's like a little button mushroom.
What's the worst injury you've ever received?
Oof. Either cracked ribs
Okay.
because there's nothing you can do.
Are
for
they
them.
debilitating more than anything?
No, I mean you can't laugh. You can't take
right.
a deep breath.
Yeah.
That lasted a good few weeks. Interesting though, they saved my life.
Okay.
It was in the middle of summer, and it was wrestling. It was a wrestling injury.
That's fine. You've only mentioned it once this episode.
Yeah, broke my ribs and was coughing up blood from the impact of it.
Right.
So obviously went to the. It was a double foot stomp on the chest through a table
Right.
from about 12 foot high.
Which would do it.
Cracked my ribs. Didn't break them, cracked them. I've still got a little bone lump now. If I lay a certain way, I can kind of feel it. And I went to the doctors about coughing up blood, obviously, and he sent me for a scan of my lungs. What happened is, for some reason, it was purely through hay fever. My lungs had been filling with mucus and were about 2/3 full.
Wow.
When he hit me, when he hit me on the table, the phlegm in my lungs sort of mixed.
Leaked through
He
the
said it
table?
looked like it looked like a lava lamp.
Right.
So what was happening is it started hitting my esophagus and I started coughing it up.
Right.
And then I had antibiotics to get rid of the phlegm. And I ended up having a bit of a drain of it as well, which is horrible.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's one of my most painful injuries. but it saved my life.
Yeah.
The other one was a broken tailbone,
Ooh.
which is still broken.
Was that through to your Saturday boy?
Yeah, that was true for my Saturday boy. No, that was
Still
my
Saturday.
third ever week of wrestling training. I did a running bulldog, bulldog. Landed. You can land
Square on it.
Yeah, there's two ways to land. You can land flat on your back,
Yep.
or you can land we call flat on your ass in like a leg drop, sitting upright position.
Okay.
I landed
Between the two.
So I was a 90 degree angle at 45 degrees,
Right.
and I chipped my tailbone. That hurt extremely. That's probably my worst because it still debilitates me now.
Right.
I can't sit on like a wooden bench at an angle or slouch or anything.
Yeah.
But also, a good few years later, I decided to add a top rope elbow drop to my kind of repertoire. And I told the other guy, because I was about 18 stone at the time, so it's quite impressive to watch an 18 stone guy jump from, and I used to cross about halfway out of the ring with it and land flat on my back, and I said to the guy, do not fucking move, I know it's terrifying, I will land next to you and there will be barely any impact on you.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's sport wrestling. And he flinched, and I had to kind of move in mid-air to cover him, landed on my tailbone and forced the chip piece of bone up into the nerve.
Oh.
And there was quite near the end of the match. The idea was I was good. It was a silly finish for a match now when I think about it, but I hit the elbow drop, picked him up. Then was a go for the pin, as if I could beat him, lift his head off the mat, as if like, no, I'm going to beat him my way, pick him up, punch him a few times, he'd kick me, go for a DDT. I would throw him off the ropes, give him my finish, which was a go for the pin. What happened is I felt my tailbone and my whole right hand side went numb, but it was still moving.
Yeah.
So I did the pin, 1, 2, picked him up, stood up to kind of raise my hands above my head and like, yeah, I'm so strong. And as I stood up, I've seen the footage of it, it looks like I have a stroke.
Right.
The entire right hand side of my body just collapses to the floor. And I slouched down to one knee, and you can't really see it, but it was the scariest moment of my life. I thought, and it's weird because the kind of way the spine works is if you get injured high, everything lower than that gets hurt.
Yeah.
Everything lower than that. But I hit my tailbone and hurt my leg, my arm, my neck, my face dropped.
All your nerves went up to your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the worst injury, I think, was when I redid the tailbone, because I slumped it. I actually finished the match stupidly. I should have just fucking called an end to it, sod it, because it still hurts now.
Sure.
And
should have just landed it and pinned him.
Should have just landed it, or he could pin me because I was injured. It would look legit.
Yeah.
I should have just crumpled to the floor and done it, but I actually finished the match stupidly. It looked stupid because I was just limping around the ring. I was only half a body. And I sat backstage after that one, and I was half that liquor man I got last week. I sat on a chair backstage, and it took me weirdly as well. My wrestling insurance had lapsed about 3 weeks, so that was terrifying because like you go to hospital or whatever, but through your wrestling insurance it was dirt cheap, but you also got a great amount of private medical cover.
Gotcha.
But I sat backstage on a chair for about an hour before I started to get pins and needles, and that was I'm not too proud to say I cried when I got pins and needles because it meant that I was getting feeling back in
can understand that,
half
man.
my body again.
A tremendous fucking relief.
Not in terms of painful injuries. I've had teeth knocked out of my face by kicks. I've had knockouts which somehow hurt.
But I mean, they're in another
submissions.
I'm talking about stuff's in another league.
Yeah, this is next level pain. I mean, I know people who've probably had far worse, but the tailbone was the most terrifying.
Blake? Top that fucker.
I stubbed my toe last week. Right on the skirting board, it left a load of scratches. It looked like a dog's been.
I stood on a Lego.
Well, you probably should have come to me last on that, because a wrestling injury's gonna.
I figured you would have
broken a bone, Rob, so it's not really going to be.
No, never.
No,
my ribs I've never broken a bone, even in wrestling.
I dropped the top speaker onto my toe and lost the toe.
Oh. Watching you do that looked painful as well. You drop the speaker, basically like we've got the big floor speakers in the band, and then there's a long steel pole and then a smaller speaker on top. And I don't think you realised it was loose.
Yeah, I didn't need to tilt it. It fell off the pole. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah,
and it fell onto my big toe.
But the noise was exactly the same as if there was no toe and it had hit the floor.
Yeah.
So it hit him that hard that it sounded like it hit a wooden floor.
And I went and sat there and went, I'm going to shout fuck a lot now.
Yeah, I remember hearing it. We were like, shit, like that really. Because we gig there about every 3 months, don't we? And your toe still, because I remember like when we got back, he was like, oh, this is where I did my toe last time. And it still wasn't right 3 months later.
Yeah. And
I'm surprised it didn't break.
It's almost regrown back now.
Oh, really? So it's that, when was that? That wasn't the Christmas gig, because that was
on before, so
that's coming up to a year.
It'd be like 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
how time flies.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Nail.
That's one of those things.
Not
like,
as damaging as losing your cock.
One of the things I always used to find, one of the worst injuries I used to get regularly, and it's not always in the wrestling thing, is jamming the end of your thumb.
Oh.
Right, and you go like, ow, and what happens is you tie up hand and wrist up to your elbow a week for ages. You can't grip or squeeze or lift. And it's the most ridiculous injury, because all you need to do is bang your thumb quite hard.
Yeah.
I've actually heard that Turkish drummers do it quite a bit, because they do that kind of side thumb drum thing.
I've broken my collarbone.
Oh, fun.
It's incredibly painful, because all the nerves run up there. So
again, it's like a broken rib. There's nothing you can't cast it up.
Totally debilitating. You have to put it in a sling.
But you can't like put plaster around it to hold it in place.
No, exactly.
Like an arm or something. No,
you'd have to basically just stick your whole chest in plaster just to keep it in. Keep
and that you fucking your chest moves around anyway.
Yeah, so just be like an action man. Articulated in 3 places, but he's still a cripple. And then you can probably see the stitches there.
Oh shit!
I ruptured tendons in one of my fingers. The story behind that one's actually kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
When I was living in France, and it was a Saturday night, 4 o'clock in the morning. We just had a house party. I was a little bit pissed.
A little bit.
Yeah, still coherent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was walking. It was the end of the night. We were putting all the empties in the bag. And I said, "Oh, I'll walk them out because the bin's only over the road. It'll be fine." On this block of flats I lived on, it was like a student thing. So we were student teachers, so we got a cheap rate, and then the students got to live there during the week if they boarded from further away, and they went away for the weekend. So at the weekends they turned the lights off, so all the street lights went completely. So I was walking in the pitch black. So I was walking to the bin, and I hit big. They had these big decorative rocks at the sides of the road, and I hit one and fell round it. I landed on my back and went, shit, that hurt my back. Stood up, started feeling dripping coming from my fingers, but I assumed because I put empty bottles and stuff, it was a spilled drink, like the bag was split or something. I was like, alright, well, I'll get rid of this. So I chuck them in both in the bin, and I start walking back towards the door. My girlfriend at the time was waiting at the door, and the light's on there, and as I'm getting to the thing, I look up, and I look at my hand, because it's starting to sting a bit, and it's gushing blood. Yeah, so I'm just like, darling... can you move out of the way? I think I'm in real trouble here. And so what happened is I basically just sliced my finger all the way down that stone.
Oh, fuck.
And ruptured the tendons in my hands.
Shit.
Yeah.
Have you got all the strength back in the tendons? Because often they won't grow back. Yeah, I was going to say.
I still get twinges. This is... it's coming up on a decade ago.
Really?
I was 2004 to 5 that I was living out there. So it would have been April 2005. So cue me wrapped up as best we can with what we've got in the house. Walking to the hospital at 5:45 in the morning on a Sunday because I've got to go to A&E to get it stitched up. Fair play credit to them though. I got in at 5:45 and I was stitched up and out the door by 1:45.
Okay.
And done and dusted and out. And the only reason I had to wait that long was because the surgeon didn't even get in the building till 8.
Yeah, no, that's
so it was pretty good going.
I've seen some nice like my dad has a great story when he lived in Cyprus when he was a young boy. His mother was a tailor, and all the British used to come to her and have their suits made because she was like quite a reputation as being quite good.
Okay.
But what my dad would do, because she was quite a high priced one as well because she was good. My dad would run and get them drinks from like the local shop.
Yeah.
So they wanted a couple of Cokes and there was the old glass bottles. My dad wouldn't get them, and he ran back and tripped and smashed a bottle, and it sliced his thumb open.
I've known somebody who's done that.
Yeah, exactly same thing. And then what's really, really weird, he was about 6, maybe 6 to 8, something like that when that happened. When I was 5, I fell over on a rockery, and I'll show you, sliced my hand in exactly the same place as my dad.
Yeah.
And we both got exactly the same scar on our hand.
Awesome. Oh, the other one I've got, which I can't show you, is a scar that runs from about here on my thigh, about halfway up my thigh, to the top of my thigh bone. That one is an even more embarrassing story. So crazy, here we go. I was about 11, and we had one of those Crocodile Mile boomerang bumps.
Oh yeah.
You know the ones I mean?
Yeah.
So for those who are uninitiated, who are now frantically googling it. We've just been given the food cue.
The food has arrived.
I'm going to wrap this story up briefly. So it used to be a long plastic flume. You used to slide down it. It had sprinklers at the side that kept it wet, and then there's a pool of water at the end. So you went flying along that. I missed, went off at an angle, and sliced my leg down the sprinkler, which was crocodile shaped with teeth.
Yeah.
So I stood up, screamed my fucking head off because I'm 11 and I'm just seeing blood everywhere.
Crocodile was just attacking.
I run into the house. I'm still like, I never had like any damage or anything like that. It literally just broke the skin, and that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But it looked
gnarly, and you still got a scar from it, so obviously it was quite
the
gnarly.
scar is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, the scar is really, really prominent. Unfortunately, I can't show you because I'm wearing jeans. And
Yeah.
I literally can't.
And not a skirt.
And
like
I can't show the listeners because it's a podcast, but I can't show Omer because I'm wearing jeans, and also because he doesn't want to see my pants.
No, not particularly.
And it's ginormous.
And if you get your cock out, it might just like flap around and cause another scar.
Well, there is that.
Mental scar.
Anyway, so we've had the food queue. So,
So
for Omer Ibrahim,
pizza.
Blake Harmer,
You win this round, Dominoes.
and I've been your host, Rob Wade. This has been The Crazy Train. Look forward to emotionally14.com and check us out on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, review us, share it with your friends. Tell these motherfuckers that what's going on, because we are podcasting up in this bitch.
Don't break your tailbone, that fucking hurts.
It's well bad. Don't do it.
And pretend that the last part of that podcast had jokes.
Yeah. Well,
They said pizza.
Jokes.